Hey everybody, it's Amanda, and I'm back today with some more, hopefully, inspirational and helpful tips for those of you who've been struggling with some various problems with creating artwork. So, I talked about this yesterday. I've got a whole list here of things that you guys have told me, and there are still some new posts that are being added, or new comments being added to the post even today. I asked the question, what's holding you back? What's keeping you from creating your own original artwork? So yesterday we talked about the fact that there's really no way to make something that is 100% original. And someone had used the excuse that every subject's been done before, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to paint. It's not going to be original. So, first of all, if you guys are here, let me know that you're here. Say hello. And I'm looking over here because that's where my computer is. I've got everything set up a little differently in here today. So, today, I'm going to choose another topic from the same type of well, it's a different problem, but the same. There are a few that are kind of related, and they have to deal with perfectionism, being afraid of messing something up. So let me just read a few of these. Fear of lack of perfection. Will I like what I paint? Being too picky and not being loose enough, and just being afraid of creating something on my own in general. So those are all kind of related to each other, and it all has to do with feeling like you've got to make something that looks perfect the first time. And I'm here to tell you that does not happen 100% of the time with anyone who is an artist. Here is a good example. Back here behind me, this little cow that I've been working on today. Let's see if I can move this over a little. It's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. And I'm going to have to change some things. See if I can move it a little closer and you can see. She's coming along, but it's not what I had in my mind when I first started on it today. It's not. I've changed the flowers 3 times. The colors are not making me happy. It's not my best work, and that's okay, because what's going to happen is I'm going to keep playing with this until I either, number one, just forget about it and move on to something else, or number two, I figure it out and I work on it and I make it work and I learn things. That is the key. So you can't go into making art with the idea that it's going to be perfect every time. It's actually never going to be perfect, because I don't think I've ever painted anything that I looked at and thought, that is perfection. You may like it and you may be excited about it, but perfect is not really a word that you need to have in your vocabulary when you're learning and when you're growing and when you are trying new things. And so just painting in general, you need to go into it with the idea that you're playing. So when I wrote this down, I wrote down all of these problems that you guys were saying that you were having. Let me see, where did it go? The fear and the lack of perfection, I just said it's never going to be perfect. So don't even allow yourself to think that way. Let's see, what was the other one that I said? Being too picky, not being loose enough. What you need to do is go into whatever it is that you are painting with the idea that you are just playing. You are just experimenting. If you put so much pressure on yourself to think that you've got to make something that is something that's going to be perfect, or even something that you are going to frame or want to hang on a wall or sell or whatever, then you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and it's going to take away a lot of the free flowing creativity, the fun. It's going to take all the fun out of it for sure. And it's just going to make it something that's stressful, and art should not be stressful. Let's see what you guys are saying. Hi, Nancy and Arlene. See, Amy likes the cow. Thank you. See, Nancy says, a professor once told us that all art is simply problem solving. Some days that seems like fractions, other days definitely calculus. Yes, and I agree. So I'm going to let you guys hang out with me while I work on this cow some more. And I got to get my palette. Hang on. So, just like Nancy just said, it's about problem solving. So if you're looking at something that you've made and you're not 100% happy with it, you just try to fix whatever it is that's not making you happy. And with this one, number one, I think I need some warmth in here. These are all very cool colors, and I want to add something different for my background. So I'm just going to take some yellow, and I'm going to add that and see what happens. So I am completely aware that this may turn out really badly, and it's okay. I'm not going to stress out about that. So that is the way that you need to approach whatever it is that you are working on. Okay? Perfectionism does not belong here. And I know I'm going to cover up some of these things that I've already painted. And I know that I need to add some white. So, let me get my white. Hang on. I have a giant container of white because I use it more than anything else. And you can just kind of dig it out of there. Okay, so this may or may not turn out better. I don't know. We're just going to play and see what happens. And if you go into whatever it is that you're painting with the same idea, the same attitude, then it's going to make it a lot more fun and a lot more exciting too. So let's compare. I'm going to do half of it and we'll compare the two sides. The background color, that was another problem that was listed. People were saying that they have trouble choosing the right colors or choosing a background color. So let's take a look. This is the side that I just added. This is the side that I had to begin with, and I'm already liking this better. So, what does this tell you? If your background is something that you're not 100% sure about, you can change it. It's paint. You can paint over it. And if you know anything about your color wheel, if you have a color wheel, that will help you a whole lot when you're choosing your colors. So, just know, I don't always get it right either. And I have to allow myself to play, and I have to allow myself to try different things, or else I'm not going to know what will work. And if I don't like this, I can go back over it again. And all that's really going to do is just add lots of layers and lots of depth, and it's really going to actually help your painting. Or the style of painting that I do, this impressionistic type style, it even it helps it to look better when I have so many layers. So changing the background color several times will actually benefit my painting. If I do that. But what you have to get past is the fear of messing up. You're not going to mess up. You're either going to make it better, or you're going to change it and you're not going to like it and you're going to make it different. So thinking about it as if it were a mistake and now it's ruined and there's no turning back, that is a whole lot of pressure, way too much pressure to put on yourself. So just look at it as if, okay, this is an experiment. I'm going to see what happens. And if I don't like it, it's okay. And if I do like it, then great. And just move on from there. I think that a lot of you are really putting a lot of pressure on yourself, especially those who are going into a painting trying to think about if it's going to sell, or if it's going to be something people like, or if it's going to be something that is perfect. And if you have that frame of mind, then you're really going to struggle, and it's really going to be stressful, and it's not going to be fun anymore. So go into it with the idea of playing. Go into it with the idea that it's just paint, and you can paint over it, and you can start again. If you mess up, if you think you've messed up, which I don't even think you should use that word, but if you are not happy with your results, then you just solve the problem. What is it about the problem or the thing that you're painting that you don't like? And if you can figure that out, then you can change that, and then it's fixed. So I'm already liking this background color a lot more. Let's see what you guys are saying now. Dorothy says, I struggle with background color so much. I love the lighter color. Thanks. Background colors, I think I may have told you guys this before, or you may not have been here when I've told you this before. A lot of my backgrounds, I don't know if you can see things behind me back there, but a lot of my backgrounds begin with one color, and then I paint over it with another color, and I may even paint over it again with another color, and all of those colors end up kind of peeking out around the edges of things or back behind things, and I like that look. And that has kind of become one of my signature things that I do, is my backgrounds. But that happened because I was not happy with the way a background looked, so I just painted over it, and it ended up turning into something really cool. So I could have looked at it like, I don't know what I'm doing, and this is a mistake, and this looks really bad, or and if I had just left it there and not tried something new and painted something on top of it, then I would have never gotten to the point where I had that look that I now put in most of my paintings, where there's, see this little edge of turquoise now? I don't know if you can see that. Hang on. There's a little edge here around the top of this flower. Of course, I'm not through with this at all, but some of these turquoise edges that was, you know, the first background that I had, are now going to peek out around the flowers, especially there, and give it some interest. So I like doing that. Let's see what else. Nancy says, I think sharing your struggles is the greatest gift. So many of us were exposed to the perfect and led to believe that having talent meant everything you did was perfect. Certainly left us feeling hopeless. Oh no. Nothing that we do is perfect, is it? Nothing that I do is perfect. Pat says she likes my hoodie. Thank you. And she says, I love using a contrasting base coat first. Yes, and that's what has ended up happening here for me, for sure. So let me do a little more work on him or her. I'm going to cover up this right here because I don't like it. Okay. Another thing that you can do when you're working on something like this is I'm looking at it in person here, and then when I turn around I can see it on my camera through my computer, and it helps me to see what I need to change or what I may need to do to make it a little bit better. So taking a photo or using a camera is definitely helpful with color and with composition. So I'm going to have to go back in there now and put in some contrast, especially in the eyes, and redo some of the, like that. Had some cute little eyelashes going on there, but I covered them up, so I'll have to go back and fix that. And I don't think I want that turquoise around the flowers so much. So I'll go back and change that up too. But like I said before, everything that you do, go into it with the idea that it's just for fun and you're just playing. And I think that will help you a lot, especially those who are struggling with this whole idea of it being perfect. Let's see. Dorothy says she takes a lot of pictures of different stages and also holds it up to a mirror. That's a great way to evaluate what you're doing. And Alyssa says she takes pictures too. And Cynthia says, thanks for sharing your work and what you struggle with. Thank you, Delissa. She says she really enjoys the way that I teach. So I'm going to continue to work on this. And as I work on it, I know that it may not turn out to be something that I really like. When I first had the idea that I wanted to paint a cow today, this is not really what I had in mind. And sometimes what you have in mind just won't translate onto a canvas or your paper very well. And that's okay, but you can continue to practice. You can do several different small studies and look at a lot of different pictures and just come up with something brand new. So sometimes it's just not the right time for this. So that may be the way that it turns out for you too. Sometimes I think that I want to paint one thing and I start doing it. It doesn't turn out the way that I had in mind that I wanted it to be. So I just put it aside for the time being and come back to it later. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You don't need to look at it as if it's a failure or you've done something wrong. It just may not be the right time for you to paint that one subject. So a lot of times, another tip is, a lot of times when I'm doing something like this, if I get frustrated, you can first of all just walk away, go do something else, fold some laundry, wash some dishes, or do something like that, and then come back to it later. Or you can take out some paper and paint something that you know how to paint really well. And that will just kind of give you a little bit of a boost of confidence. Like, yeah, I do know what I'm doing. I just need a little bit more time, and I need to play with this one subject a little bit more. And that helps me a lot too. And my go-to is usually a hydrangea, because those are really fun for me to paint, especially with my palette knife. And so if I'm trying to paint something that is not working out for me very well, then I may go and paint something that I do know how to paint really well, and it just helps me to get some creativity out that I know is going to look good, which makes me think I may change these to hydrangeas on top of this cow's head. I think I will. Let's see. Nancy says, just for fun and playing, best thing that ever happened to me. Hope it happens for others much, much sooner. Yes, thinking that way will definitely help you a lot. Let's paint some hydrangeas on this cow's head. Okay? Sometimes you just have a fun idea. Leah says, my big struggle lately is why to paint. I so enjoy it, however, I feel like I'm being so selfish. Oh, don't ever feel that way. Painting is putting beauty into the world, creating something that is not there, that others can enjoy, that you can enjoy. And I can't think of any negative reasons why you should not paint. Okay, I got my blue out here. Let's do some hydrangeas on top of this cow's head and see how that turns out. See if I can pull it closer. Maybe I can pull it a little bit closer. I got the wheels on my chair down here are not working well with the bottom of my easel. So let's see. Here we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. Hydrangeas will be fluffy and soft. Well, we'll see. I don't know what they're going to look like yet, but we're going to try it anyway. So, this is my sketchbook that I'm working in, and it's wiggly, but it'll be okay. I'm going to have to put some greenery in here eventually too. And this may turn out to be ugly. Who knows? I don't think I've ever done any animals with hydrangeas on their heads. I've done lots of roses, but I don't believe I've ever done hydrangeas. Okay, I'm going to get a lot of white. not sure um, how I'm going to fit very much greenery in there. I can put some down here, I think. But so now she has hydrangeas. I'm going to look for my green paint. Let's see. Get some sap green. Let's just put in a little bit of some greenery here. See how that's going to work. If nothing else, it's going to break up some of the white of the face with the white on the flower. So, see, Peggy says, I find leaves are my hardest. When you're working with a palette knife, try not to paint the leaf in the actual shape of a leaf. So, like this right here, can you see that? It's just a big squiggly line. So you're really just going to put in the indication or the idea that there's some kind of greenery there. It doesn't have to be the exact shape of a leaf. And it's actually better if it's not, because if leaves are turned in different directions, like if you well, there are no leaves on the trees right now, but if you were looking at a tree that had leaves on it, then you wouldn't see them all in exactly the same shape. They wouldn't all be, you know, in a row. They're all turned and twisted and a little bit different. So when you're painting with a palette knife and you're using the end of it, you can just kind of twist and turn it and just get the indication of greenery. And I'm liking that. I like that a lot better than the pink. First I had pink flowers, then I changed them to white flowers, and now I think I like these hydrangeas a lot. I mean, look and see. I feel like I need to add a little more blue. Maybe a medium blue in a few spots. Because I've got a lot of white in some of it. Okay. So there she is. You can see a little more closely. See, those leaves don't look anything like the shape of a real leaf, honestly. They're really kind of like blobs of paint, but turned out pretty good. I need to work on her eyes some more, so I'll do that, and you guys let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you all for your sweet comments about the cow. Any other questions that has to do with our topic, which is perfectionism and how you should stay away from it. Running out of white that's clean on my palette. I think I had some little white fuzzies here on this ear too, so I'm going to put those back. When I redid my background, I kind of lost some of the stuff that I had on there. And look at my camera. Okay. Cynthia said a hydrangea crown. Yeah, that's what it is. Holly said, I've been wanting to paint my dog and he's white, so this is giving me ideas. Yeah, so when you paint things that are white, there's really not a lot of white in there. You need to have some color underneath. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in there just to warm some spots up. And same thing, like when you're painting a white flower, it's not really, the white is kind of the last thing that you add in there. Let's see. Peggy says, I find it hard to stop because I think it could be better. That's another issue with perfectionism too, is it is hard. It's hard to get to a point where you feel like it's finished sometimes, but a lot of times I've found that if you quit before you think you're done, that's usually the best thing to do, because you're going to continue to overwork it and overwork it and overwork it until it's just not good anymore. So for her, I think I'm going to stop where I am right now. And the whole idea of perfection, you can tell from just from this cow right here that you don't need to have things perfect. I mean, look at the nose. Is that perfect? No. Eyes are not perfect. They're probably not even completely even when you look across here. But just play, have fun, try things. Like I said, I changed the flowers up here 3 times. I changed the background. It was a dark turquoise when we started, and I changed it and made it this light yellow. So don't be afraid. Don't think that you've got to do it perfectly, because you don't have to do anything. When it comes to art, the more imperfect it is, the better most of the time, because that's what makes it creative and fun and different and interesting. And if you painted everything and made it look exactly like a photograph, then, I mean, that takes a different kind of skill and a different kind of talent. And some people can do that. But you might as well just have the photograph, you know? If you want to do something fun and interesting and different, then you have to kind of let go of that idea that it's going to look just like the photograph. So, I hope this was helpful. And I hope that this will at least get you going in the right direction and stop thinking that everything that you do has to be perfect. Everything that you do, especially when you are just learning a new skill or you're continuing to learn things, then go into it with the idea of play and allow yourself to have fun and not pressure yourself to think that it has to be perfect. Okay. I lost. Teresa said, thanks for the information on how to paint leaves. I'll have to try to be more loose when painting leaves. Yes. Good. I'm glad that you all found it helpful, and we will see how many more topics I can pull from this list of problems that you guys have given me. Some of them, a lot of them have some things in common. But we'll see. If there's something else that I can think of, then we'll do this again, and I will see you guys next time.